Hello everyone, welcome to my second ever stream. I'm just going to keep on an eye on the chat for a minute just to make sure everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. If anyone's in the chat. I'm assuming the hellos mean yes, you can hear me. Awesome. Okay, so obviously last week I was working on the letters. I was drawing this letter, which I ended up redrawing the next day because I didn't quite like what I drew in the stream. But it's mostly the same, and I'll just show you what I've done since then, basically. Not very much, essentially. So that's what we're going to work on today. Actually getting this letter. So if I click on this letter, you'll see it pops up, then opens, and then you can read the letter. At the moment, I've just got this placeholder letter, which I just mocked up, basically. But the next thing we really need to do is actually get this text to read properly. So I've thought about this. I've got a little plan of what I'm going to code. If you spot any problems, do let me know. But yeah, I think we're just going to sort of dive into this. Sort of held off on implementing this just for the stream because I thought it'd be interesting. Probably can't stream too long today, but we'll see what happens. Try and get this finished. So what I'm going to need to make is a letter generator class. So I'm just wondering where I'm going to put that. Maybe in the game controller. Because this is where I tend to put a lot of the sort of global stuff. I try to sort of not have much that's global, but sometimes in a game like this, you've kind of got to have that stuff. So I'm just going to create a letter generator. Is my keyboard really loud? Let me know because I will switch to my other one. Can I make some tutorials? Yeah, I would like to make some tutorials at some point. It's just like what those tutorials are. I've got a couple of ideas. Like a lot of people have asked me how I implemented conveyor belts. I think that could be quite interesting. Although my implementation, I mean, it's so hard to get a good conveyor belt. There are so many different ways you can do it. I might just go through a couple of different ways if that's what people are interested in. There are some more simple things that I could make tutorials on. So yeah, if there's anything, let me know. Am I going to stream weekly? I don't know. It's just like whenever I have something that I think is going to be interesting for a stream, I'll stream it. Because sometimes I can spend a lot of time just debugging, and I don't think that would be that interesting because I can sort of sit here and just stare at code for an hour. I'm not sure you guys would find that interesting. So anyway, here I've got a generators folder. I'm just going to whack the letter generator in there just to keep everything nice and tidy. And the way this is going to work is essentially we'll give the letter generator a contract. So like if I've generated a contract for a company, I can then pass that into the letter generator, and then the letter generator will choose a template letter and then fill in some blanks basically. So I've got a couple of methods that I've sort of sat down and thought about. You know what, I'm actually going to switch my keyboard because I think this one's going to be a little bit loud. I'm going to sit here and code. Just reading the comments, 1 second. Oh yeah, Sebastian Leg's new video is great, by the way, so definitely watch that, about coming up with ideas for games. He's also made a letter generator, not a letter generator, what am I about? A idea generator, which is actually pretty cool. Alright, I've switched keyboards. Let's see if this is any better. Is the keyboard working? Yes, it is. Okay, so I've got two main methods that I'm going to go through today. The first one is this one, generate letter. And that's going to have a bunch of different overloaded versions of it. So this one's going to have it's going to be interesting seeing if I can actually type on this keyboard because I've never used it before. We're going to have a contract. Oh, new keyboard, guys. It's not that'll be the one. So we got that, and we've also got another method called replace pattern, which is gonna return a string, but that only needs to be private because it's never going to be used outside of this class. So private string replace pattern. The IDE I'm using is Rider. It's pretty good. If you're a student, it's free. If you're not, it's quite expensive. So I mean, there are other IDEs you can use. This one just looks pretty nice, so I tend to use it. So I might not talk as much in this stream because I'm trying to focus on my coding, but I will try and interact as much as I can. This is going to be an experiment because obviously I haven't coded on a stream before. So what this method does, this is just going to use something called a regular expression, which is essentially a pattern in text that you can then replace with something else. So I'm going to write this method first, I think. I did a little bit of research earlier. It turns out there's a pretty great method called regex.replace, which returns, I believe, a string. Yes. So I can pass in a pattern into this. So all of the letters are going to have words within asterisks. So if I was writing a letter, say like hello world, 1, 2, 3, 4, company name, this bit within the asterisks is going to be replaced with the company name. Obviously, my letters will not be written like that because that's terrible. Just going to read. Oh, yes, I will zoom in. Sorry, this is probably very small. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Is that big enough? I can make it a bit bigger if you want. Yes, so what I'm writing is replace pattern. This is going to take a string as input. This is going to be the letter. And then a pattern word. So like company name and then what that pattern's going to be replaced with. So we're going to first create the expression. So regular expressions look a bit odd. So in C# I've got to use this @ symbol. That means basically any forward slashes I use. Oh, I'm using this keyboard's different to what I'm used to. Let me just, I believe it's UK layout. 1 second. Sorry, just sorting stuff out. Switching back to the other keyboard because I do not know what that other keyboard says. So, bear with me. Okay, so the way you would write this pattern in a regular expression is like, so to put an asterisk, you put this forward slash, then the asterisk, then I want the pattern word, and then another string like this. So what this is basically saying is we're looking for a pattern that begins with an asterisk, and then is followed by the word, and then closes with an asterisk. So then we can put this into this method here, which is very useful. I think the way I've got it, this version of it works like this. So if I put that in, the expression and then the replacement, that should return. Hopefully that should work, and basically just take any word that I put in here and replace it with that. I'll just turn my microphone up if it's a little bit quiet. Let me see. Like I'm speaking through a tin can. Okay, 1 second. I might just... I don't know, is this audio any better? I've just... 1 second. Okay, I'm just going to restart my microphone thing, or the thing my microphone's plugged into, see if that helps at all. Coming through. Okay, I've restarted my microphone. Can you let me know if that sounds any better? Just waiting on those comments. It seems like the stream is sort of 30 seconds behind everyone. Okay, cool. It sounds better. Okay, great. So yeah, if any of you followed, this is basically just looking for a pattern in some text and then replacing it with another word. I'm going to use it up here. So for a contract's got a bunch of different things in it, like how much that contract is worth, what sort of objects or items you're looking for. So I'm just going to test it out here. So if I say string letter text equals replace pattern, I can then put in, I'm just going to create a fake pattern. So equal, let's say, hi, the replacing this word, and then star replacement word. And then I'm going to call this with, oh, not giving it a name, input string. And then I'm just going to whack that in there, see what happens. Pattern word, look for that, and then replace it with testing 1, 2, 3, because why not? And then return letter text. Oh, it's not a string. Hang on. I'm just going to make this a void for now. And then just make this go to debug.log. So I don't know how experienced any of you are with Unity, but obviously debug.log is like just the default output to console kind of thing. So that should do for testing this at the moment. Just reading the comments, 1 second. Is this a JetBrains editor? Yes, yeah, so it's JetBrains Rider. Actually says on the top there. I don't know whether you can see that. I mean, text might be a little bit small. So now I'm just wondering about how I'm going to get this into the game. So I might just, 1 second. So this is pretty terrible. I mean, just going to share with you my spaghetti code for this project. Obviously, I've been working on this project for a very long time now. Sometimes it gets to a point it's hard to keep everything structured beautifully. Just a heads up there. So I've got a game center class, which is really useful for everything that's sort of branching off from the center. So I'm just gonna put this in here. Public static. What have I just created? Letter generator. This is going to be useful because I'm going to use this code anyway at some point. This is just good for testing. And then when I initialize this class, I then find that because it's static, the problem with static is you've got to use find in Unity. You can't just like drag and drop it into the interface basically. So I believe I added it to the game controller. And I'm looking for letter generator. Can't type. So yeah, what this line does is basically finds an object called game controller, which is basically what all of this central stuff is on, and it gets the letter generating component, which I've just created. I don't know what your mic is doing, Ben. Is it doing it again? Is it sounding robotic? I'm not sure why that's happening. I might just try restarting it again because it seemed like it worked at the beginning. Bear with me. Figured out the problem. So let me know if that fixes it. That might fix it. No, this isn't on Twitch as well, by the way. This is just a YouTube stream. I might do Twitch at some point if people want me to. I just thought, because most of my audience is on YouTube, I'll just do it on here. So yeah, does that sound any better? Some people are saying it sounds better, others aren't. Okay. Alright, we'll see if that works. Yes, so I'm just gonna now test that using my cheat bar. Excuse me as I'm just sort of jumping about this a little bit. There's so much code that I've written at this point, like it's quite hard to I don't know, like explain everything to you, because I mean there are so many classes in this project and so many different parts of this project. But yeah, the cheat manager is where all the cheats happening. So I've got this test regex method. So I'm just gonna test it basically. GameCenter.letterGenerator generate letter. And I need to technically pass in a contract, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have to zoom in on every class. Yeah, as I said, this is a bit of an experiment with this coding thing. I need to figure out how I'm going to do everything on the stream and sort of explain everything properly. But yeah, there we go. Just going to use this line, and I've actually got a cheat already set up. So the cheat is, let me see. So I've got a list of cheats, which will probably not make it into the final game, but I mean, they might do if you want to use them. Who cares? This line, test regex. Just reading the comments. Let me see. Looks like generally everything is okay. So I'm going to just run this cheat. So as I said, I'm just going to make this a little bit... Oh, that's not going to make it bigger, is it? I don't know whether... Is everything clear to you at this size? I don't know if it is. Well, anyway. So I'm gonna use this cheat, test regex, and see whether it worked. So I've got an error. Let's see what I've done. Apparently the error is there. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Ah, I see. The letter generator isn't currently being found. So that would be where I created it in the game controller. Ah. Interesting. Is it definitely... It's definitely there. Just try and re-add that. Yeah, there we go. Oh, thank you very much, Critters. That's awesome. Very much appreciate it. How? Okay. Oh, see, it's done it again. That's because I've just... Yeah, as I said in my last stream, like, you're going to see all the mistakes I make in real life, which I edit out. Letter generator. Okay, so it's on there now. So in theory, when I run the code, we should get this regular expression working. Where it's just pattern matching and then replacing. Okay, so we've got this. Hi, replacing this word. And it's not replaced it. So I just need to figure out what's going on there. Where is it? There it is. Bear with me while I just read this and just double check what I've done. One second, just... Can anyone see what's wrong with that? Because I might be... I mean, as I'm streaming at the same time, it's quite hard to sort of focus on it. It might just not be matching that pattern. Ah, it's the capitals. I think someone mentioned this earlier and I just didn't see. That would be it. Okay, so if we try it again. Yeah. Yeah, I think a couple of you pointed that out to me earlier and I just kind of half read the comment and didn't really notice. So sorry about that. Should have listened earlier. Test regex. There you go. So as you can see, that worked well. I can't really zoom in. I don't know whether you can see that. Basically, what it's outputted is, hi, replacing this word, and then it's put the correct replacement in. So the regular expression is working as it should. There are other approaches to pattern matching. You can use something called a sliding window. But generally, regular expressions are built into languages, so it makes it a lot simpler on the coding side. They're just a little bit different syntactically to what you'd sort of be used to with other parts of a language, basically. So that's working as it should. Yeah, for a simple template system. To be honest, I'm just doing it because it's cleaner this way. I've not really messed around with regular expressions that much. It seems to be generally pretty efficient the way it's built into C#, so I'm just gonna stick with it as it is. But I mean, if I find that it's problematic, I just thought for this stream, probably more interesting to do it this way. So I'm gonna add this up here. So this is going to be the letter game object, well, letter prefab. So this is what we're going to get the letter class from when we instantiate it. So in this, we're going to need to instantiate the letter prefab. And that's going to need to be a child of the letter container. So I'll just do this, letter container. So what this line does is just going to create a new letter prefab game object and make it a child of the letter container transform. Just reading the comments again. String.replace works great. I did not know that was a thing. Might look into that after the stream. Thanks, Nick Custers. Tips when pixel arting. Yeah, so I'll probably do more pixel art streams. Just when I get to that, because I'd sort of do art and then code and then repeat, basically. And then from this, we're going to need to get the letter object. So we're going to get letter object. Oh, letter equals letter object dot get component letter. And then way down here, we can return the letter. Make sure that that's the right return type. Otherwise, we're going to get errors. So what this is ultimately going to do, this method, is pattern match for the very specific case that goes in here. So say this is a contract that goes in here. It's going to do some very specific pattern matching, and then we can have a bunch of different variations on this method which work for different things like loans, because obviously the different templates will have different patterns in them that need to be replaced. Do I sound like a robot again? What is this? I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether this is my recording software doing this, or my internet. Gonna have to do what I did earlier again. Sorry, guys. Okay, testing the microphone again. Sorry, I've got a cold. I probably sound terrible. Let me know. I mean, is it that bad that I need to restart it each time? Let me know. So anyway, getting back to this. So yeah, ultimately this is going to return the letter after doing a bunch of pattern matching and replacing stuff. So I think as we've gotten to this stage, I might just test that what we've got here, see if that's working, and then go from there. I mean, this should work the same pretty much. Yeah, sorry, it takes a little while for everything to restart and sort of reconnect on my computer. I can't really do anything about that. I'm going to look into this robot problem because that's really annoying. I'm not really sure why that's happening. It might just be a dodgy driver or something on my computer. Oh, I haven't set this all up. This is a problem I tend to come into. Excuse me. This happens all the time where you try testing stuff and then you haven't filled everything in over here. So yeah, I've got to take this letter and turn it into a prefab. That's very easy to do, thankfully. I just need to whack it into a folder down here. Just got to remember which folder I put it in. There we go. Just drag and drop it, and it creates a prefab. There we go. So now it's turned blue, you know it's a prefab. I don't want to delete. Oh, sorry, I've made the wrong thing a prefab. Just undo that. What's happened? There we go. Just delete that because that's not a prefab. That one should be. Okay, there we go. So I can delete that version of it because I've got it stored down here. Go into my game controller where I create the letter generator, put it in there, and then put the letter container. So that's this object here. It basically wants this transform, which is its parent. So when I generate a letter, it should hopefully pop up as a child of this. Just reading the comments again, 1 second. Yeah, if the microphone does this again, I might just leave it, just rather than making you sit there and wait for me to restart it. And then I'll fix it for the next stream. So we're just going to use our cheat again. There we go, and the letter's popped up. So I can... Obviously, this text isn't going to change. That worked surprisingly well, actually. There we go. So, is the microphone... It's not the microphone. Is my keyboard really loud? I don't know whether to just stick with this keyboard. Because it's got very noisy mechanical switches in it, which I didn't think would be ideal for a stream. Yeah, so that worked. So next I'm going to need to actually edit this text in here. Yeah, I can't speak long just because I'm going to lose my voice if I do. Got a nasty cold. It's that time of year. Yeah, so taking this text and basically making it say what I want it to. So that means I'm going to need to edit the letter class over here. So there's a bunch of different stuff I've already put in here. These are the animators that control all the different parts of it. So you can kind of figure out what these are from the names, I think. And that's just used in the animation. But it needs to be public for complicated reasons. What was I doing? Let's see. Public. So I need to make a text. The text controllable. So all of the text in the game is a Text Mesh Pro. So that makes it look really sort of clean and crisp. The Unity text is horrible. It's very aliased and looks very sort of distorted. Unless you've got it at some ridiculous size. But even then, it creates all kinds of weird aliasing on the text. So I just thought it's way better to use Text Mesh Pro if you can. I'm pretty sure it's quite easy to download and it works on most computers. Oh yeah, also, I'm only a few subs away from 3K. So that'll be fun. Don't know whether that'll happen in the stream. We'll see. So that's going to be called letter text. I'm just going to create a method here called set letter text, and then pass in a string to it, and then letter text dot text equals text. That should work. So now if I go back to my letter, tell it what that letter text object is by dragging and dropping it. I can go back to my letter generator and say letter dot set text to letter text. I don't know how many times I just said text, probably way too many. Okay, so that's the next step working. Just gonna make sure I've saved that. Because that can be an annoying little thing. You spend ages doing some code, test it, and then everything works exactly the same as it did, and that's because you forgot to save. Classic coding problem. Right. Test regex. There's the letter. If I open it, there we go. Perfect. there is a word at the bottom of the screen which seems to show what the mouse is pointing at, but it still shows thing masked by the voids. Do you mean this here? I'm not sure what you mean, because like the Unity console outputs down here. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty straightforward to get that working. Just reading the comments again. Keyboard's fine. Yeah, I might just send back my other one, because I'm not going to use it otherwise. It's all looking good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess maybe I could start writing like something a little bit more complicated for a letter. So what we need to do next, I guess, is to create an array of basically text files that the generator can use as a template. I'm just wondering, I think it's text asset. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think text asset is a text file. Unity's thankfully very good at reading them in. You don't need to write any sort of complicated back-end code to sort of convert that from a different format, basically. Public text asset, contract letters, templates. I'm just going to create a little thing up here. This is quite nice. You can create little headers in your classes that show up in Unity. So this is going to say templates, and if I go back into Unity, where have I put it? Leave this. And find that. Yeah, so see, there's now a nice little header, basically. So next I'm going to need to I'll just create a folder. Call it templates. And I'm going to need to create a text file in there. So going to have to navigate my way. You know what? I'm just going to create a shortcut to Lumbermill, because this takes way too long. I'll do it in a minute. I don't know how Windows works. I do, but just don't know how to do that. Right. Honestly, these folders, I was talking about this in my last stream, there is so much. I need to go through and sort of tidy this up at some point, because I spend a lot of time just looking at things, trying to find out where everything is. Letters. There we go. So if I just create a new text file in here. Test, and call it test template, I guess. Oh yeah, so the shortcut you see here is to a different folder. This is to my save files, so that's useful for like if I'm running a build of the game. The console output goes to a file in this folder. This isn't the main sort of folder for the Unity project. This is a different thing. So, just write a letter. This will be quite interesting. Dear company name. This is definitely not going to make it into the final game. This is just going to be good for testing. We would like order count. Times object name. Looking forward to hearing from you. And then sender name. Regards, sender name. Yes. Okay. So for those that have joined late, basically anything within an asterisk is going to get replaced by something in the code. And this file is just a template that's going to allow me to randomly. So I'm going to make a bunch of these templates and just randomly choose them whenever a company sends an order. Just reading the comments again. Yes, nice to see someone code on live stream and experience all the issues hidden from vlog videos. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of them. It's very easy to edit them out. I tend to just not record when I'm having issues. This has gone surprisingly smoothly though, so I'm not gonna jinx it. So now I can use this template. I might just turn these into constants in this class at some point, but for now we're just gonna just might sort of put these side by side so I can, oh, wrong one. So I can see what I'm trying to match against. So string letter text. Oh, I know, I shouldn't redefine that. Letter text equals replace pattern. And then we're going to pass letter text back into itself. Because we're just going to basically go step through everything, all of these patterns in the class, and sort of, so we just pass the same variable back into itself, essentially. I could possibly turn this into like it matches an array and runs through the array. It might be cleaner to write it like that, but we'll stick with it how it is for now. So that's going to match company. And it's going to... I'm going to need to put contract up here. Yeah, so now we're passing a contract in. This has become very specific. This is only going to work for contracts. That's fine. The letter text is going to start. Just make that letter text equals contract letter templates. And we're just going to put that in this template in position 0. Get the text from it. Oops. So company is going to be replaced with contract dot get company to string, and we'll see what that does. What are you guys saying? Oh, so the company name. Oh, yeah, no, that's a point. Yeah, no, there is going to be a limit. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know whether you... Oh, there's a YouTuber, I've forgotten his name. Basically just plays a load of tycoon games and just breaks them. It's really eye-opening when you're making this kind of game because he can do all kinds of amazing stuff. Oh, I'm trying to think of his name. If anyone knows who I'm talking about, put the name because it's an amazing channel. But yeah, no, I was thinking of him and thinking like he would definitely like break the game by putting in like a ridiculously long company name, and then the letters will just look an absolute mess. So yeah, I'll be limiting the characters to stop people like that. It's funny, but I don't want him getting his hands on the game and then just absolutely destroying it, basically. Yeah, so that should all work fine. I'm just gonna go back into here and find a contract. I don't know where I'm gonna find them from. I can't remember where I've put them. Contract manager probably, and find... Oh, I can just generate a contract. I'll just do that then. That's the one. Why is that not the right? Cannot convert. So, oh, okay. So when I call this method doesn't return a contract. I might just change that, actually. Go into the contract manager and change that, because that would make life a lot easier if it actually returned a contract. So I would just change that to change the return type here to contract. Because like if you put in a return type, you don't necessarily need to use the object it's returning. Just sometimes it can be useful to get the output of the method. So what this method does basically is generate a contract, I guess, something very simple. This is what I'm going to call placeholder code. this doesn't actually generate a very complicated contract at the moment. This is going to be a lot more detailed. There are going to be a lot more other methods that it's going to reference, just to make things a little bit more random, a little bit more bespoke for each different company. But I mean, that'll do the sort of, that'll get the general idea. So now that's working. I can pass that into the letter generator. Dot generate letter, and then pass in the contract. That should now, when we run the game, generate a letter using this. If I pass that in if I give that to the generator. I don't know whether you guys are following this. I might just be rambling. I keep forgetting where it is. There it is. I need to make that size 1 and drop that in there. Yep. So here's the template. It should now reference this, pattern match that first pattern, and if that works, we can then fill out the rest of the stuff. Just reading the comments again. I'm not sure it is spiffing. I'm not sure it is spiffing Brit. It's another guy's. I think he's American. He plays. I think his most popular videos were on Satisfactory, where he just at one point he just built this massive cone out of conveyor belts, and it looked ridiculous. I don't know how the game managed it, but somehow it was still running. I mean, there are more extreme examples than that, but you need to see it. Test regex. Oh, something's gone wrong. Let's see. Object reference not set. This is probably the most common and easy to fix problem in Unity. Just double check where that's coming from. It's not recognizing for some reason. Looks like the contract isn't being found there. Let's game it out. Yes, that's him. Definitely look him up. It's a great channel. So good. I think he was playing Planet Zoo recently, and it's simultaneously very upsetting and really clever. I don't know whether he's got a history in a background in game testing or something, but I don't know how he comes up with some of these things. Yeah, so I need to fix this error. I think the best way I'm going to figure that out is just by using the debug tools, because that gives you a bit more information. So I've just put a breakpoint in here. I can then look into, say, the contract object and see what's going on. Okay. Just do what we did the last time. I'll probably stream for another 20 minutes or so, and then I've got to go. Test regex. Okay, so now that's, as you can see, the cursor's stopped, so the entire thing is frozen. That's because it's stopped the code here. I can then look. Oh, so here we can see exactly what's gone on. The contract is null. So if we go back into here, apparently this contract that's been generated, what I think's happened is the game's only got space for 4 contracts, and if you let me see if I'm right about that, because I might not be. Yeah, so if you've got more than 4 contracts in the game, it will then not create a contract, basically. So instead of doing it that way, I'm gonna call get contract. Is that a method? Just get the contract in the 0 position, because I mean that's guaranteed to be there, because I generate 4 contracts at the beginning of the game at the moment. Just gonna turn off the debug tools, because otherwise it will freeze. And start the game again. This takes a little bit of time to start, just because it generates a new forest every single time. There's no real way around that just because, yeah, obviously there's a lot of things going on in this game now. Test regex. There we go. So the letters work. There we go. We've not got an error. So if I open it, what does it say? That's not what it's meant to say. I've obviously not changed that text. Where is it? Letter generator. Because that's the input string. Oh, and we're passing the input string into here rather than the letter text. There we go. Now it should work. If we just wait for Lumbermill to start up again. Is there a losing state for the game? At the moment, I've not built that into the game yet, but I'm not sure about how I'll present a losing state. But yeah, running out of money is the obvious choice. I feel like that makes sense as a way to sort of end the game for someone. Obviously, there will be cheats, so if someone wants to keep playing, they probably will be able to if they know the cheats. Obviously, you don't have to use them. I'm just going to put them in because it's kind of classic, isn't it? Having some cheats in a game. You don't really get them in modern games other than like The Sims. Okay, still working. There we go. Contract company. Company 2. I'm not sure. So this is referencing an enum type. So just basically a list of different companies. I'm just going to look at that enum. So I'm just going to have some water. Hopefully this cold goes away because this is my second one of the last few months. What enum is it referencing? Am I using the right contract.getCompany? I'm just going to see what this method does. Because, I mean, it doesn't seem to be doing what I seem to think it's doing. So I need to find my contract, which will be in here. Contract.getCompany returns the company, surprisingly. I mean, that tends to be the case with get methods. And the company up here is a contract company class, which isn't an enum. I should know this, but like I coded this a little while ago. I just need to sort of get my head around what I did. I can't remember where I've... One second. If you spot it, let me know. It's contract company. I don't know whether that will be backend. I'm sure it should be an enum. Yeah, so I mean, if I show you, like, this is just the back end of the game at the moment. There is a lot going on, a lot of classes to remember. What are you guys saying in the comments? You don't navigate by shortcuts. I mean, I probably should. I don't know the shortcuts in this IDE though. I just never sort of get around to learning them in software. I really should. This is a problem in Sprite as well. Like, there are so many shortcuts which would make things so much easier, but I just forget to learn them. Anyway, yeah, let's find this. I don't know where I've put it. Contract company. Tell me if you see it, because I'm not seeing it anywhere. It should... I'm sure I should be able to... Let me see. Maybe if I just find the usages of it. There it is. Oh, okay, so it's just a very simple class. Oh, I see. So the contract company has got a name and a logo attached to it. That's the problem. So if I go into the letter generator and pass in, rather than using toString, because I thought I'd written a toString method, but I haven't, I just get the name. See if that works. How about disasters for fun? Yeah, I love games like SimCity, but the disasters thing I find is so upsetting when you're trying to you've got built some beautiful city, and then an earthquake comes along and then just destroys everything. Um, I'm also not sure what disaster. I mean, we could have forest fires. That's a lot of artwork. I don't know. At some point, maybe I'll feel like that's necessary. Just there are a lot of features that I think will make the game more fun with less work at the moment. But maybe if the game does well, and I decide I'm going to continue supporting the game after it's out, that could be something I look into. But anyway, let's test this. Test regex. Here's our letter. Open it up. Dear Carpentry. That's fine. That's worked. So, I mean, it just needs to go down here. That needs to match sender name. But yeah, I mean, that works. So, I might just fill these out and then that'll be like, that's good for this stream, I think. Just get these working. And then I'm happy, I think. Right. So, where's our letter? There it is. Dear... Let me change that to sender name. I'm going to add another line pretty much the same as this. Instead of sender name, we're matching company. And we're going to match it with the mill name. So this is the name that the player gives their company when they start a game. We can test this in a minute by starting a new game and generating a name and then seeing if that gets filled out. And we just have two more here. Order count and object name. So change that to... Ooh, that's really annoying, that pop-up. Order count. And then that's going to come from the contract. Dot get item count. Except that's got to be a string. There we go. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't like if you pass in an integer as a string, because obviously an integer isn't a string, and sometimes C# doesn't know what you're trying to do. So just whack that at the beginning. That just sort of tells... That's a very quick way of telling C# that what you're writing is a string. Similar thing for the object name. Object name. Contract dot get recipe. And then the recipe's got a bunch of different information on it. So the recipes are basically what the CNC and the assembler machine use. And all objects have a recipe. So I mean, I could put in any of this information. Might actually be good to put the species, because then I could say like maple logs, pine logs. Yeah, I mean, I will do that because that's important information. But for now, we'll just put item type. That should hopefully match everything here and output a letter. So let's see if that works. What are you guys saying in the comments while I wait for it to load? Yeah, I really should learn these shortcuts. I totally agree. I've learnt them in Premiere, which I edit in, because, I mean, it's kind of hard to use Premiere without using shortcuts. So it kind of forces you, which is good. Control clicking should open the class. That's useful. I'm going to use that in the future. Thing is, when you're sitting and programming by yourself, you don't realize how much time you're taking to do certain tasks. When you're on a stream, you're aware of, like, all these people are watching. And how long it takes. So yeah, for these streams, I think it's going to be a worthwhile investment of my time to learn these shortcuts. What else are you saying? Beavers taking logs from your belts. Yeah, that'd be funny. I like that. Some other people have had ideas of other animals, like you could have bears and stuff which attack the lumberjacks. There are going to be like random events as well, I think. I don't know whether... I mean, maybe I'll do like a tree falling on someone. There was this awesome moment in Red Dead Redemption 2 where you're just like strolling through the forest and then a tree just falls on some guy. And those little touches in Rockstar games are just, they make it for me. So I want to get sort of some little things like that in here. Obviously, it's not going to be as spectacular as that game. But I can try my best. Oh, something's not working. Again. Value cannot be null. So that's to do with my regular expression. Am I passing in something that's empty? Oh, I think this is the problem. The name for this particular mill is nothing because I've started from the game scene. So if I go back to the main menu, load that up, save it. So a forest fire would be a lot of work because each tree has 4 or 5 different growth stages. Each of those growth stages needs a different, like, its own fire animation, because if I just made one fire animation, it wouldn't look quite right, just sort of overlaying it. I don't know, I could do something that looks a little bit janky, sort of just a fire at the bottom of the tree, but I just don't know. There will be fires, like, lumberjacks will, like, if you build a fire, I'm thinking, if you build a fire next to their tents, that will improve the quality of their housing, and then they will, in turn, be happier, and it will also look nice. And there are going to be some sort of decoration options for the player, so it's not all about just building machines. If you want to build other things that look nice, you'll be able to do that. So just going to generate a company. Maple Bridge Soaring, that'll do. Begin. Let's see. Okay. Just run our test again. There we go, it worked. So if I open it up, dear Maple Bridge Soaring, we would like 0 times plank. I mean, it's obviously generated this. That's correct because it put the number in. Looking forward to hearing you. Regards, Son of Birch. The logo's got to change. I'll do that now, and then we'll be done. Let me see. Letter generator. Letter. So this is going to need an image. Company logo. Just got to import that. Oh, I know this shortcut. Alt enter to import. It's not all bad. And I just think it's good practice to say to create a setter method. That's just coming from like a Java background. I do this. It's probably not correct in C#. It just feels wrong to me not to. Because I don't like just editing things. There might be other things that affect this logo, so it's generally better to write a setter method. And that's going to take a sprite. Logo. So company logo.sprite equals logo. That should update. And this should be quite easy to set in here. So if I letter.set logo, and then just get the logo from the company, contract.getCompany.logo. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also things like fire. I actually had a university project where we modeled forest fires as a cellular automata. And there are some surprisingly complicated things, and you can make them seem really complicated, like, because these are pine trees, obviously they have pine cones. In real forest fires, these pine cones act as like little bombs that are fired out from the sides of the trees, and they can create little fires elsewhere. It would look really cool in the game if I could get a particle effect doing that. But yeah, fire spreading and everything, there's a lot of code that would go into that. And just for the amount of fun I think players will get out of it, at the moment I don't think it's worthwhile. Doesn't mean at some point I might change my mind and decide that's really fun, and put that in. So test regex, open it up. For God's sake, no, it's not changed. That's because I've not. After spending ages in Unity, you can quite quickly spot problems like this, but I think when I started, things like this could take a very long time to figure out if you've just forgotten to attach the company logo like this. And this happens to me all the time, so yeah, hopefully that should fix it. Pinebridge Inc. Reading your comments again. Maybe the lumberjacks have different things they're scared of. The dark. Oh, that would be so funny. Yeah, I'm trying. I think with the emotions system, I'm gonna try and sort of get some funny personalities in there, because obviously the lumberjacks will have personality types, and that will sort of affect their relationships between each other. So like a lumberjack might walk past another lumberjack, and their mood will just drop because they hate them, or maybe that lumberjack's got a very sort of sad disposition and brings everyone else down. I don't know. Test regex. Open it up. Hey! Okay, it's not scaled correctly, but it's doing the right thing. It's filled in all of this information correctly. And it's put the logo in. It's stretched it. That's easy to fix, actually, if I just click that button. Preserve aspect. But for some reason, it's not... Why is it not updated? Because I've... Okay. I've not updated the right thing. Let me just find the letter, and I can just show you that how this would be fixed. Letter, logo, wherever it is. Oh, you've probably figured it out by now. It's taken me that long to find it. Preserve aspect. There we go. Sorted. Yes, there is save and load. I can't demonstrate it to you right now because I've added a few features and I need to build them back into the serialization system. Just because whenever you add something to the game, it's very easy for that to break your saving and loading, but it's pretty much there. I'm not using player preferences at the moment. I'm going to use that for things like settings. You're not really meant to save whole game files to player preferences. It's just not what it's designed for. The way I'm saving it is a binary file, which seems really daunting when you first start, but once you get into the flow of sort of writing serialization code, it becomes quite simple. Sometimes you need to adapt your classes a little bit so they are savable, but that's not normally all that much work. Do I plan to have any moderators in your stream? I don't know. We shall see. I mean, I've not... This is my second stream, so... yeah, I don't know. Maybe, at some point. If you're interested, let me know in the Discord. I mean, that's pretty much everything. I'm just going to read some of your comments, and then I think we're done for today. A big manly lumberjack being scared of the dark. Yeah, that'd be funny. Could be lumberjills as well. We got lumberjills in the game. Make a lumberjack based on the Monty Python sketch. Yeah, does he have a name? I'm not sure if he's got a name, but maybe he could walk around singing. That would be quite funny. What year are you in uni? I'm in third year. There's lots of work in third year. Things are okay in first and second year, but once you get to your third year, things get a little bit more stressful. But I mean, I'm trying to find the time to do this game. Get things done. It's gradually moving along. And I've got this plan of... So hopefully I'll finish it not too far away, basically. Discord link. Okay, I'll just whack that in here. I'll just generate a new one. Here's the Discord, everyone. I'm getting messages from people. Let me see. Ooh. Just generate an invitation. Copy. If you want to join the Discord, there's your link. Hopefully it'll work. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you very much for watching. I'll let you know when I have another stream. Cheers, guys. See ya.